Hi, I'm Andrew Wasson. Thanks for joining me for my weekly guitar blog. It is June 16th, 2013, and this week we're going to cover getting fast guitar licks up to speed. Now, this question was sent in from Vince. He's in Topanga, California, USA, and he wrote in with this email to me. One thing that's driving me crazy right now is how I can't get my faster guitar licks up to speed. I can memorize them and play them slower, but I just can't get them quick. Another problem along with this is when I jam with my band, I can't play fast licks in a song at the jam. So I totally know that I'd never be able to play them live. What kinds of tips can you offer for getting faster licks up to speed? From Vince in Topanga, California, USA. Well, hey, thanks for writing in, Vince. Playing faster guitar licks not only sounds flashy, but they will certainly grab your listener's attention. Fast guitar licks also relate a really different emotional response during a solo. See, there's a very unique and also complex style of expression that happens when a fast guitar lick is applied, either within a guitar solo or within a dedicated melody section during a song. However, the problem that many guitar students will encounter is that of getting their fast guitar licks up to speed and ready to perform at a moment's notice. So in this video, I'll be taking a small collection of fast guitar lick examples, and I'll not only be showing you how to play them effectively, but I'll also go and explain how to study them so that you have them completely burned in to your memory and at your fingertips when needed. In terms of getting fast guitar licks so that you can play them at the drop of a hat, it will take the rehearsal of what I would say 3 core elements to be able to do it. Number 1 would be to practice any guitar lick that you want to be able to play fast with a metronome and never play the idea faster than you can play it perfectly. So slowly speed it up, get it fast, get it jamming really quick, practice it quick, but do not rush there too fast too soon. Number 2 would be to move the lick all over the fingerboard so that it's effortless in every single location. Play it low on the neck, play it higher in the middle of the neck, go up way high. Get it all over the guitar neck, not only in a horizontal sense, but also practice it going vertically as well. Come up with the idea that you want to work on, or if you get it from a magazine or a book or whatever, but then take it along the neck, both moving it horizontal and vertical, even if it sounds kind of stupid going vertical, because sometimes guitar licks they won't work, especially between the tuning difference of the third to the second strings, but do it anyway. Just treat it as a technical concept. Now, finally, number 3, play the idea first at your band rehearsals, warm it up there, and then start getting them going live, because even if you're crashing and burning a few times live on stage, just keep doing it anyway. Eventually, that guitar lick will settle in. You may have to, go back to step 1 and do the rehearsal more, and go back to step 2 and play it along the neck all over in different locations more and more, but keep pushing it out on stage, doing it live, because that will allow you to be able to settle in the guitar lick, and then you'll be able to rip out the idea anytime you want. But be patient with yourself. Just be really diligent about it and strive for perfection, and eventually it will come. But if you give up, it's obviously not going to happen. So anyway, now let's move on to some examples. My first idea is a speedy legato line between the 2nd to the 4th guitar strings. So first, here it is slower. It's going to be in 5th position. So it's got some pull-offs. It's got a hammer-on idea there. Here it is a little faster. And then, of course, move it around. Move it laterally along the neck. And go down further, Move it all over the place. And put it on different strings even. A lot of locations is still going to work. This is kind of a really functional line that I came up with here. So that's example number 1. It's really kind of a neat little idea. The second guitar lick idea I have combines the really cool sound of 16th note triplets along with a continuous smooth hammer-on idea. These concepts come together to create a really rapid and flowing run, operating in this case between the 5th to the 3rd strings. So what we're doing really here is a legato idea, double hammer-on. And then we're going to do it across, that's on the 5th string, 5, 7, 9, then 4th. There's your 6 notes. And then we're going to continue it coming from 4th going to 3rd. And of course move that around too. it to different locations. But get it all across the guitar neck. It's a very good line for not only building a feel of double hammer-ons in your playing, but also for getting a really cool, rapid flowing legato technique happening for yourself. It's very good for left-hand strength as well. Just remember that as you're going and practicing it, if your hand gets sore, just take some time off of this thing. And you can also tell how I'm doing it. I'm going index middle to the small finger. It's a very good concept to work on. It's very difficult to do in the beginning with clean sound, so maybe I would recommend having a little bit of crunch and distortion on your amp, maybe even dial up a little bit of chorus or reverb or something to make it a little bit more fun. But don't go too crazy, don't go adding on loads of digital delay or something. Just keep it basic, and then later, go back to a clean sound and try it. It's a lot harder to do on a clean sound, and it's very difficult to do on an acoustic. So as time goes on, keep integrating this stuff. But remember, when you're first learning all of this, the parts need to be pushed into songs at your band rehearsals, and then you have to force them out live on stage. That's the only way that you're going to be able to get all that adrenaline burst to be able to do these faster runs with a lot of control. Is you got to practice them in these high adrenaline situations like live on stage, and eventually you'll have the success with it. Now, in my next example, I'm moving into the world of sweep picking. In this case, really, though, it's more of just a rake because we're not going to be doing a full up and down sweep movement. I know that's really difficult for a lot of people. Nonetheless, sweeping or raking across multiple strings is generally something that still many students will struggle with. So the same principles, though, they'll still apply in the practice sessions. Work slowly using a metronome, never play faster than you can play stuff perfectly. In this example, though, it starts with a rake just basically from 4th string there. We're going to go from 10th fret, 4th string, and we're going to rake across from 10 to 3 from 4th string to 3rd string to 2nd to 1st. Just like that. It's actually a major 7 arpeggio off of a C note. And then we're just going to have that hammer-on pull-off idea, taking us back to the 3rd string D note there. It's a very cool, flashy kind of burst of speed when you do it. It's really interesting. I quite like these rake concepts, especially when they're followed up with that some kind of a hammer-on pull-off lick on the top end. Just remember to be moving these licks all around the neck. It's really going to burn them into your memory, and it'll help immensely with that feel after a while when you want to get it out at the drop of a hat. But anyway, here it is again. You can move it around a bit. It's a very cool concept, to just toss into a guitar solo at some point. Anyway, let's move on to the final example. Here I'm switching over to straight picking, no hammer-ons, pull-offs, or sweeps of any kind to create the speed. It's just going to be plain old picking hand shred. Now, this can often almost be as much of an issue for guitar students as sweep picking. So work slowly and diligently with your technique here, and definitely use a metronome when you're trying to develop a right-hand picking technique. The importance of that is just huge. And all the same learning tactics that we've discussed in previous examples will, of course, still apply. So this lick is going to begin on the 9th fret of the 4th string, and it's going to involve going 9, 10, 12 over to the 9th fret E note of the 3rd string, and then we're going to go and double back, into the 4th string again. Eventually we'll come up over into the 3rd string, traveling across 9, 10, and 12 to wrap up on a high A note there. So that's the idea. Practice it till you get it really smooth. Move it around the neck. Well, before we wrap up, I wanted to discuss something that I've noticed over all the years of teaching with students as they develop and grow as guitar players. When each of us sets out to practice the guitar in the early days of our personal playing history, we all approach our study with the guitar and our setup for practice and our practice areas and all that stuff. We all approach it very differently. For some of us, it all has to do with creativity. For others, it's just a passion in music. It's so strong that we those people need to learn to make music themselves in order to feel to really be a part of it. For others, it's all to do with the challenge associated with getting a musical part to sound and feel correctly, for lack of any other word. As time goes on, however, most guitar players tend to want to get more serious in dealing with their ability and their technique, and this leads to building more technical competency in their playing. So during this period, it's quite common to go and completely redesign a person's practice hours and how they're set up to do practice, the room they're in, and the whole environment, everything to do with it, the hours that they're spending and logging time and so forth. It's redesigned usually for those people into a more comprehensive study approach of doing things like using a metronome, keeping a study log, striving for perfection by practicing in a very regimented, almost you might even say military way of doing things. It's all leading to a much more classical study approach. So if you're perhaps getting to that point where you want to play faster guitar licks at their appropriate speed and just become very much so more well-rounded in general, it may be the time in your life to just adopt a completely new way of studying the guitar in order to truly hone your skills and your abilities and get them to that next level for yourself. Anyway, that's about all the time I have for today. As always, thanks for watching. Have yourself a great week, and I'll catch up with you next time. Bye for now.